Mistakes are the portals of discovery.
Wow.
Right. That's James Joyce. I mean, if that line doesn't just stop you in your tracks, I don't know what will.
It really does. It's the whole idea that anchors our deep dive today.
Exactly. We're not here to talk about failure as, you know, some necessary evil. We're here to explore it as a core requirement for growth, for success.
It's a complete shift in perspective, and the stack of sources you brought us is fascinating. I mean, it's everything from creative manuals to daily laws, even ancient wisdom.
Right. And they all point to this single, really revolutionary truth. Your biggest roadblocks, the self-doubt, the mistakes you're terrified of making, they're actually the gateways you have to pass through.
They're not just roadblocks, they're required.
They're required. So our mission today is to synthesize all this, to kind of find a shortcut to understanding how to master your errors instead of just constantly trying to avoid them.
I love that. Mastering them, not avoiding them.
Okay, let's unpack this.
What's so fascinating here is how the sources just demand that we redefine what failure even is. It's a total psychological reorientation.
It really is.
The material insists the mistake isn't an obstacle to the path. The mistake is the path.
So if you're not making mistakes, you're just standing still.
You're not moving. That's a profound truth about how we actually grow, how we discover meaning. Meaning is extracted from friction.
So then we have to stop trying to reverse time, right? We just stop obsessing over what went wrong last week, replaying it 1,000 times.
That's the wisdom of letting go. We have to stop trying to undo what's done. One source puts it so beautifully, quoting George Eliot, "It's but little good you'll do watering the last year's crops." Think about all the energy that goes into trying to revive something that's already gone. It's exhausting.
It's paralyzing.
You learn what the wrong turn taught you, and then you immediately use that knowledge to plant something new. The past is only there to inform the next action.
I find that so relieving because the rumination about the failure is often way more painful than the failure itself.
Precisely. And if the mistake is the path, we have to talk about what stops us from taking that path, which usually isn't something external. It's self-doubt.
That gnawing uncertainty. The voice telling you you're an imposter, that you're not ready. We're conditioned to see that as a stop sign, aren't we?
We are. We think doubt means retreat. But this is where we get to the core of it.
Stephen Pressfield, from The War of Art.
Yes. He gives us this definitive reframe. He argues self-doubt should never be treated as a weakness. It should be treated as an indicator of aspiration.
An indicator.
It reflects love of something we dream of doing. The doubt is proportional to how much you care.
So if you're not feeling any doubt, you probably don't care that much about the outcome.
Exactly. You're not feeling existential dread about filing your taxes. But launching a business, writing a book, that's when the inner resistance flares up.
That's a beautiful mechanism, really. Because it means if you're asking yourself, am I a real writer? Am I a real artist?
Then chances are you are. The struggle itself is evidence of the calling. The questioning confirms the work matters to you.
And that inner adversary, the voice that says, don't do it, wait until tomorrow, the sources call that resistance, with a capital R.
Implacable, insidious, indefatigable. That's resistance. It's that energy that makes you suddenly need to clean your entire house when you're supposed to be writing.
And by giving it a name, resistance, it feels like you steal some of its power. You see it as this external enemy, not as a core part of who you are.
Absolutely. And the flip side is the presence of that enemy, it signals that your soul is being called to do something important, something that we and we alone are meant to do. The doubt is a compass pointing you toward the work.
That's a powerful idea. But how do you tell the difference between productive doubt and, the kind that just paralyzes you?
That's the key. Productive doubt says, this isn't good enough yet, go back and fix it. Destructive doubt or resistance says, this isn't good enough, period. Stop now. One offers a path forward, the other demands retreat.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Because trying to avoid that paralysis leads us right into another trap.
The paradox of desperation.
Exactly. The harder we try to control the outcome, the more likely we are to fail. We try to force it.
This is the concept Robert Greene calls hyperintention. It's a self-defeating urgency that just sabotages the very thing we want.
It's your conscious mind getting in the way.
You want something so intensely that the effort cancels out your natural intuitive skill.
So, like trying to fall asleep. The more you desperately need to sleep, the more aware you are that you're awake, and the harder it becomes.
That's the perfect example. And the material gives others. If you feel you absolutely must give the best talk of your life, you become hyper-anxious.
You're focused on the outcome, the applause, not the process of just delivering the information.
And the performance suffers every time.
We see it in personal relationships, too. The person who desperately needs a partner often pushes people away with that neediness.
Right. The most pleasurable things in life just sort of flow. They happen as a byproduct of authentic engagement, not from forcing it.
And the sources imply this directly to money and success, that a single-minded pursuit of wealth often leads to impractical results.
Which brings us to the Steve Jobs example.
Yes, he built an enormous fortune, but the material notes, he really didn't care that much about personal wealth as the main goal.
Not at all. His singular focus, his pure motivation was creating the best, most original designs possible.
The work itself.
The work itself, and the fortune just, it followed him. It was a residual effect of his purpose, not the object of his hyperintention.
This boils down to what Dalai Laws calls the law of aimlessness. Concentrate on maintaining a high sense of purpose, and the success will flow to you naturally.
It's a beautiful idea, and it has these deep roots. The sources draw a fascinating parallel to the wisdom in the Ten Commandments.
How so?
Well, avoiding coveting, that grasping for what others have, and having no other gods before your mission. Hyperintention is basically letting an other god, ego, status, money, get in the way of the work's integrity.
That really reframes everything. So if the goal isn't avoiding mistakes, but mastering them, how do we actually do that? What are the practical tools?
We have to adopt the mindset that Mark Twain had for courage.
Courage is resistance to fear, mastery of fear, not absence of fear.
Exactly that. So success is the mastery of mistakes, not their absence. It's accepting the risk, but knowing that getting back up with new wisdom is the victory.
This is where we have to channel Jim Rohn. Stop wishing it were easier. Wish you were better.
Stop wishing for less problems. Wish for more skills.
Stop wishing for less challenges. Wish for more wisdom. It puts the agency right back on you. You can't control the difficulty, but you can control your capacity.
And building that capacity requires practice. It requires willingly making small, controllable failures. It's this idea that proximal fitness leads to distal athleticism.
Okay, that sounds a little dense. Break that down for us.
Sure. It just means the small-scale work you do today, the tiny stresses, the little failures in your daily routine, they build the long-term, big-picture capacity you're aiming for.
So give us an analogy.
Think about lifting weights. You go to the gym and you intentionally stress your muscles. That's a proximal stress, a small, controlled failure of the muscle fiber.
Right.
And those micro failures build strength, which leads to distal athleticism, the ability to perform at a high level months later. In creative work, it's writing that terrible first draft. Those are the reps.
And the sources are very clear that the quality of that practice matters more than the quantity. You can't just go through the motions.
No. Practice has to be driven by love of performing, and you must constantly challenge the mind and creativity. If you're just playing scales mindlessly, you're not growing. But if you're improvising, making intentional mistakes to find new sounds,
then those mistakes become tools, not errors.
And that's how you earn the right to transcend convention. It's that Picasso quote, "Learn the rules like a pro, break them like an artist."
You can only break a rule effectively once you understand why it was there in the first place.
Right. And while you're in that struggle, you need mental tools to stay present. You have to learn to compartmentalize, to turn your focus on or off. When your mind wanders into anxiety, you gently remind yourself to play in the present moment.
I love the simple advice the sources give for that moment of pressure. Get your head up. Look around. Where's your opponent? Where's your help?
It forces you out of your head, out of that internal narrative and back into reality.
So this whole process, it demands a kind of internal harmony.
Yes, the way of grace in harmony. You have to make peace with the parts of yourself that fail and doubt. You have to be okay with your own fallibility.
And to do that, forgiveness is non-negotiable. One of the sources lists 5 rules for a happier life, and one is simply always forgive.
You pass through the mistakes portal, you learn the lesson, and then you have to leave the weight of that self-condemnation behind. Guilt is just dead weight.
And that applies externally too. Don't internalize criticism for your stumbles.
Remember, the way people treat you is a statement of who they are as a human being. It's not a statement about you. Your mission is your own growth, not their validation.
But this war against resistance, it can't be constant. The sources are clear about the need for rest, for rhythm.
Without recovery, there's no growth. It's that old wisdom. After lunch, sleep a while. After dinner, walk a mile. Balance is key.
And when it all feels too heavy?
There's the beautiful Irish proverb, a good laugh and a long sleep are the 2 best cures for anything.
Simple but true.
We choose light. We choose to be positive, and we recognize that because of the mistakes we made today, we're closer than we were yesterday.
So what does this all mean?
It means the entire model is upside down.
It seems like the road to success is built on a foundation of productive failures, not safe choices. Courage is in the willingness to treat mistakes as openings, not endings. The goal is never perfection. It's just progression.
The struggle is the work.
And that reframing changes everything. Okay, for your final provocative thought, we want you to identify one thing you are currently avoiding because you're afraid of getting it wrong. Maybe it's sending an email or starting that project. What small, intentional mistake, a rough sketch, a messy first line could you make today to step through that specific portal of discovery? Go make the error and see what knowledge is waiting on the other side.